What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the data points, what's been coming out associated to NIO itself, and what shorts are up to. Before I get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So at the time of doing this video, it is up 2.99%. A lot of volatility. So $6.71 the low, $7.71 is the high. And even pre-market did have a high of $7.78. Oddly, I actually already did a NIO video. I just said one thing that was incorrect, and I'd rather everything be factually correct. So I'm kind of redoing the video. But essentially, pre-market shorts were increasing around 4.5 million shares. Kind of during this period right here when the market was kind of pulling NIO down, shorts were taking advantage and returning some of their shares. So I'll talk all about that in a second, but there's a ton of volume. So 179.36 million shares being traded, 70 is the average. Majority of the transactions though occurring today are from algorithmic trading, piggybacking off of the kind of the momentum associated to Chinese stocks. And yeah, so I think that is what really drove NIO very, very high, because looking on the secondary market, you're not seeing that resemblance of big money buying. If anything, you're seeing a lot of entities selling. So even pre-market, there was a couple big ones. So everything that shows as a bid essentially is a sell. Everything that shows as a ask is a buy. So somewhat evenly divided all in all, but when it comes down to NIO, they did put out this news right here. And so this is what I wanted to kind of correct myself on. I did state that this was due to, or I guess contributed to dilution. That's not the case. So again, my apologies on that. I guess I misread it ultimately. So I think in general, this is good for NIO, bigger picture, but there's a lot of different attributing factors to what is causing NIO to go down. Any stock going up 19+%, especially I think that's what it was at its high, you are going to have a certain level of profit taking. And plus, NIO is getting somewhat manipulated, so I'm going to talk on that. And then as of right now, Powell is speaking. So all of that is contributing to kind of profit taking and everything else. At the time of doing this video though, shorts are increasing 137,000 shares. So like I said, first thing pre-market, they were increasing net 4.5 million shares. So they were coming in strong, didn't really feel that the momentum behind NIO was justified. Since it did start to sell off due to profit taking and whatever else, they took that opportunity to return some shares. So in case you don't know, by returning, that is meaning that they're buying. So they're kind of countering the sell off, like I said. But 12.42% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 165.83 million shares. There is some brokers in there kind of in all this manipulation. And why I say that is if you look at cost to borrow minimum, it is negative. So negative 0.2. Nothing really crazy, but with it being negative, that does mean that there is a broker out there physically paying people to short NIO. So something, again, to kind of keep in mind, it isn't IBKR. That's what I use primarily, and it does show cost to borrow being 2.37. So it's not them. A lot of other stocks occasionally show this same level of manipulation. So as far as I know, it could be Fidelity, but that's just guessing at this stage. But cost to borrow average of all the brokers is 3.59%. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from that though, looking at options, enormous amount of money is getting into NIO through both common stock as well as options. $43 million in calls, 12 million in puts. Sentiment wise, 46% of all the options being done are bearish. Of the call options that are being purchased though, you do see consensus for it to be kind of, actually this is Faraday, so this is NIO right here. So call options are kind of orienting for it to be between that around 9 to even as high as $10. So that's been kind of the case for, I think, since last Wednesday. I said that there was a abnormal amount of options around that $10 strike price. So people are anticipating more of a further momentum, FOMO kicking in for it to kind of trend higher. Tomorrow, they should also be putting out their numbers. So delivery numbers. And today, on a side note, is the last day in Q3. So you are seeing a lot of rebalancing. So this right here, transactions on the secondary market should light up like a Christmas tree near the tail end of the day. and even after hours. So kind of just be prepared for that. And then yeah, aside from that though, looking at the puts, you see a consensus for it to be sub $6. So in my opinion, there still is a lot more upside anticipated based on this. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Right now with it at $6.75, it has pulled back quite a lot from its highs of, like I said, $7.71. So $6.80 is going to be the next strong resistance / target, and then $6.64 is going to be that next strong support. So kind of just watch for both, and even aside from that, just look at a lot of the other support and resistance points. On the actual chart itself, it is outside the Bollinger Band. So essentially, any stock outside of that, like unjustified, usually does get dragged down. So I think that's also playing a part in NIO's kind of consolidation midway throughout the day. But still, I think that NIO is a very discounted stock, and that's been one thing that has really affected NIO for the greater part of like last 3+ years, is just it being a Chinese stock. And I feel like right now with everything that's been coming out from China, that's somewhat, it's drawing attention to discount plays all in all. So I think NIO, despite everything, still should be at around like the $14 range, given the multiples and comparing it to American stocks, which again, you might not want to do, but you guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day. Looking at stochastic, it is at 80, so still arguably considered overbought. Still nothing wrong with that though, for stocks to stay overbought for extended periods of time as they do correct. So yeah, I think today it's just a lot of things happening, not just with Chinese stocks, but across the board. A lot of things happening in the Middle East, a lot of things coming from China, and a lot of things coming from the States. Even the States, you did have this right here. So Chicago PMI, a little bit better than anticipated, but still regardless below 50. So kind of shows a more of a contraction that's happening in the broader market. And like I kind of pointed out at the beginning, Powell is actually speaking right now. And so that is causing a lot of volatility in the broader market. So a lot of different things all moving it, but number of retail investors are buying. So if you are part of that group and if you did buy today, give yourself a shout out. If you sold, again, let me know your thoughts. Did you guys sell because you wanted to take profits? Do you think it's unjustified for what it's gone up? Like, it has gone up fairly high, so up 19.31% over the last 5 days and up 65.28% over the last 1 month alone. So yeah, a little bit of consolidation is still overall fairly good. I still see this as a win. Of course, that win could be extended even further, but what do I know, right? I'm not a financial advisor. You guys do whatever floats your boat. One final thing, to make sure you guys definitely take advantage of this promo. It does give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Today is the last day to take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.